Right in our garage and test facility. Let's see what we're driving this week. Actually, we're driving 2 vehicles per week now. And this is number 2. And this Lexus RX 350 is number 1. We'll have a video on this in a couple of days coming up. A Mazda CX-5 SUV with very nice blue paint color. Whether you're a fan of Mazda or not, this is definitely one of the better small SUVs on the market. Very proven, extremely reliable, sporty and fun to drive. Another advantage of the CX-5 is its low starting price of around $25,000. However, this one's a wee bit more because it's loaded with just about everything. This is the signature version. I'm told there are no options. And at this price, there shouldn't be. For those interested, this is made in the Japanese factory. Some Mazdas are now made in Mexico. That seems to bother some people. Last week we did a video and test on the CX-5's big brother, the Mazda CX-9. We'll have a link for that video test at the end of this video. Just go to the end, click, and watch. If you don't care about that interior room, we also did a video on the Mazda MX-5 sports car. We'll have a link for that as well. One of the first things we do when we get a vehicle is check and make sure there's a spare tire, especially if it's an SUV, because a lot of SUVs are taken off-road. Yep, we get one for sure. And the second thing we do is take the headlights out in the dark and see what happens there. Most people drive in the dark, right? So why not test it in the dark? I seem to be the only YouTuber that does this, which is why you should watch my videos instead of theirs. It's dark enough. Let's see what these lights do. Look pretty bright. And here's what the rear view camera looks like in the dark. Good spread. Very good illumination. It's pretty dark in back of me. See, very little light back there. So this is very impressive. Here we have the low beams on a wall 100 feet away. Extremely bright. Not much height, but more than enough for city driving. These are the high beams. Great amount of light there too. And here we have the brights on a fence line 80 yards away. The building is 130 yards away. These are high beams, got a low beam. Reaches out. These are active headlights. That means they swivel in the same direction as the steering wheel is being turned. Like so. Very handy if you're driving on tight mountain curves. Also, if you break these headlights, they're very, very expensive to fix. So don't. Okay, you might have noticed this light flickering during our testing. That is the heads-up display. Supposedly it can be disconnected. It really can't. Every time you restart the car, it pops back up, even though the computer says it's turned off. I'm going to discuss this later on in the video. There are 2 engines available for the CX-5, a 2.5 liter putting out 187 horsepower. It's more than adequate for daily use. Or you get this one, a 2.5 liter turbo with 2 horsepower ratings, 250 if you use premium and 227 if you use regular. This is the same motor used in the bigger Mazda CX-9, which is 1,000 pounds heavier than the CX-5. So as you can imagine, the acceleration of this vehicle is pretty peppy. Economy's rate 22 in the city, 27 on the highway, and 24 overall. We're going to take this out in the real world and see if that's true. Let's take a look at the cabin, and the second row seating can be folded for gear. Room for 2 medium-sized adults. The doors come all the way down to the bottom of the bodywork. So all this area here, the rocker panels, stay nice and clean. So you don't have to worry about getting your pants or legs dirty. The glove box is medium-sized and holds plenty of items. The gauge cluster is well designed, but we do get some of that reflective glare. Seem to be seeing a lot of this lately, especially on Toyotas and Lexus vehicles. Oh well, what are you going to do? The climate controls are very easy to use though. Get a 6-speed automatic transmission. A sport mode button if you're in a hurry. Or a bigger hurry, use the paddle shifters on the steering wheel. I'm told the infotainment screen is 3 inches larger for 2021. It's controlled by this large knob and various buttons. By the way, the camera system is very high quality with excellent resolution in the daytime. Very nice. And you put it in drive and we have a front camera that shows what's in front of you, although I don't know why we need to see that if we can see through the windshield, but nice to have anyway, I guess. Take your pick. Alright, let's talk about the heads-up display, also called active driving display, that provides information reflecting into the windshield, right there. I don't like these, I want them turned off, but the problem here, you really can't turn it off. Now let me demonstrate. It says active driving display content. Press that. Now yes, that did turn it off. The problem is when you restart the car, every time you restart the car, it pops right back up again. But according to the display, it's turned off. Go figure. Every Mazda I've had for 2021 does this, and nobody seems to give me any answers. If you don't want to look at the heads-up display, there are a few tricks you can learn. First of all, turn the brightness all the way down to -20. That will make it go away in the daylight, but at night you still see it. So the only way I can get rid of it at night is to stick a rag down the hole. The only solution, guys, by the way, if the rag is dark black, it helps. I don't have one at the moment. And my number 2 complaint concerns the sun visors. Yes, they do fold to the side, supposedly to protect your face from the sun in the early morning and late evening. Hopefully, because it's been 115 degrees for the past couple days outside. Very, very hot. Problem is, they do not slide back and forth to offer your face protection. They do have this little side panel that comes out, which is very ineffective. Why not just design the whole thing to slide back and forth? I don't get it. Wouldn't cost any more than inventing this stupid contraption. I'm not picking on Mazda here. I have a Toyota in my driveway that has the same thing. Alright, those are my 2 complaints about the Mazda CX-5. Everything else should be pretty nice because I like the way these drive. So let's go out and do some driving. One thing I like about Mazdas are the power steering systems, very quick and responsive. Although this is an all-wheel drive version, so a bit heavier than the 2-wheel drive, but still more than adequate. I don't think there's going to be any complaints. As we do in all of my videos, we're going to take some mild speed humps around 20 miles per hour, see how the suspension performs on impact. Here comes bump number 1. Heard it, but didn't really feel it. Number 2. Number 3. And this is the rough one coming up. Yeah, I felt that one. The signature model comes with the larger 19-inch wheels, so you're going to hear a bit more thumping and bumping than you would on the less expensive Mazda CX-5s. No big deal. On the street, where you're not in the habit of running over lots of speed bumps, the suspension is pretty comfortable. With 250 horsepower, pulling around 3,600 pounds, this isn't a missile, but it's certainly brisk enough. reset the mileage computer to 0 and take a short highway trip. See what type of fuel economy number we can get. Well, I was planning on going four-wheeling in this rig early in the morning, but the weather seems to have changed. They said it was going to be clear and sunny. And once again, they were wrong. Oh well, look at the positive side. We'll get to see how this all-wheel drive traction works. We're going from an elevation of 1,200 feet to around 5,500 feet. And this little turbo engine is doing a great job of climbing. Very smooth and quiet. Lots of bottom end power. Well, 22.7 mpgs, not overly impressive, but considering the steep climb we made and a lot of passing we did, it's respectable enough. There's a return trip coming up, so don't go away. Well, we're going to make an honest effort to do some off-roading, but the mud out here is just too thick. And if I keep going down this trail, we're going to get stuck. And I don't like getting stuck. And they're picking up this car tomorrow morning. They expect it to be here, so back to the pavement, I suppose. But I have taken these off-road before, and with decent ground clearance and all-wheel drive. As long as you're doing light-duty trail busting, you're okay. This isn't a Jeep or a Land Rover. It's basically a car. So you have to do light-duty use only. We're going to take a return trip. Right now we're at 5,000 feet, heading for 1,200. So it's downhill all the way. Oh boy, another wreck. Idiots don't know how to drive. Well, the EPA claims 27 on the highway. We got 23 going uphill, around 29 coming downhill. I should average around 26 mpg. Close enough. So what's my take on this Mazda CX-5 after a week of driving? Well, there's some Mazdas I like, some I don't like, but I like this one. It's a proven product. Plus it's made in Japan, the way all Japanese vehicles should be, but they're not, unfortunately. This is a very nice vehicle. And while the value for the money at the base price of around 24 to 25 grand is good, we kind of lose value for the money when we get to a $38,000 price tag. It's a lot of dough, but then we get a lot of stuff on here too, especially that turbo engine, which is really sweet. And even at 38 grand, it's still cheaper than many of these German SUVs that offer similar performance, so maybe in that regard it's a bargain, huh? Here's some videos of other Mazdas we've driven. Just click and watch.